Ho, 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 and welcome to the Alluring Bead Boutique. My name's Katrina, and I'm here today to do a couple of little quickie tutorials with you that go along with my little mini-series I'm doing, Great Holiday Gifts, projects that you can make in under an hour. This, however, is not one you can make in under an hour. I just wanted to show you guys really quick some of the ornament covers I've come up with. I've been playing around with the concept, and this is one I made yesterday. I closed this one up on the bottom. I'm trying to come up with some kind of a tassel or something to hang off the bottom. I think that'll be really pretty. They do take quite a bit of time to make, but I've been playing around with it, and I just wanted to show you real quick. Here's another one I made. I don't have another little Christmas ball to hang these on, so I made this with a top of a water bottle, but here's one I did in silver and red. It has a lot of really pretty tassels. I've used some crackle glass and little red crystals, some silver beads and bugle beads here. I like the way that one came out. Here's what they kind of look like off of anything. It's just a netting technique. It does take a lot of thread to make these, but they are really, really pretty. And then I did this other one with just using some opaque seed beads and some acrylic and glass pearls. This one's a little bit different. I brought the netting down a little farther on this one, but I think it really came out pretty. I have some videos of these swirling around on the glass, the ornaments on my Facebook page and my the Bead Mat group page, if you want to take a look at what they look like actually hanging on the ornament. But they are really pretty, and that's something I've been doing in my spare time. What I've really been doing is doing a lot of work on the mini-series of the Great Holiday Gifts. Let me show you these earrings really quick. These little beautiful wreath earrings, I have a pattern that I'm going to be posting later today, and also I have a Skillshare class on how to make these gorgeous little wreath earrings if you're interested in those. They take about 30 minutes a piece to make, but they're made with all seed beads, and they just came out spectacularly kind of cute. I like the way they look, and I'm very happy with them. So I'll be taking those to my craft show that I'm doing in the mountains. This is not my idea, folks, although I did kind of change it up a little bit. These little Santa Claus earrings, if you can use the video I've done previously, or check out my free PDF on perfecting your simple loops. But these little Santa Claus earrings came out really cute right here. Here's some I did where I put a little black seed bead between the body and the head. Yeah, I think I like these better with the little black seed bead. It's really cute. And then I did a snowman, and I thought of this part on my own. I saw the Santa Claus one somewhere. But anyhow, they're just really cute. And I wanted something that I could sell for, under $10 at my show that I'm doing on the 25th in Burnsville, North Carolina at the Christmas Extravaganza. So this is something I came up with, and I just used head pins and pre-made ear wires for those. And then here's a little Christmas tree one that I did. Just using some rondelles and some little daisy spacers. And at the bottom, I used these little hematite cubes that I had in my stash. But I used 3 different colors of rondelles to add some contrast, and then I put a little bicone at the top. So here's the mate to it. And for these, I did use my 1-step blooper pliers, because when you have beads on there, these actually work out pretty good. Just stick your wire through the channel till it pokes out the hole. Make sure that the wire on this end is tucked up nice and tight, and that your beads are laying up against the channel and not inside. And then just squeeze. And those pliers, go ahead and cut the wire off and make your perfect little loop. And once again, I've just used some pre-made earring findings, and these are stainless steel hypoallergenic, which I thought might be a good idea to use for the craft show. Then I'm just going to close up my loops on the earring wire with my chain nose pliers. And then I'm going to make sure that this little loop from the one-step looper is closed really good and secure. And I just gently squeeze that closed. And I thought that made a pretty cute little pair of Christmas tree type earrings. Nice and shiny, sparkly. Yeah, you'll find the links to all of my Skillshare class and the PDF for the simple loops below, as well as the beautiful beaded link earrings video I did on YouTube. So I also wanted to mention really quick that if you use my link, which is in the description box, to go over to Skillshare, you get 2 free months of the premium access, which right now is probably going to be a great time to go ahead and take advantage of that. I have my opulent opal earrings tutorial available there, and there is a PDF download for the materials list. Or if you don't feel like doing that, I do have the pattern for these beautiful earrings on my website. And these are the first ones I did in this mini series for great gifts, you know, that you can make in an hour or less. And they came out really beautiful. I love the back of them, just about as much as I do the front. They're pretty simple, and you guys should check it out. And then I wanted to quickly show you some other things I'm working on before I show you the earwire tutorial for today. But I'm going to do some beaded links and hang off of this little component. I've got the other one already ready to go here. But these are simply these long, fancy bead caps I got off of, I think, Amazon a long time ago. And they're really sharp here, so they're hard to use with like certain beads. The fluted edges make it, you know, kind of weird to try to fit your bead in there to where it looks right when you're stringing or anything like that. And I haven't really used them a lot because of that. But here's what I did in order to find a use for them. I just took a pair of chain nose pliers, and then I just gently started separating these things just like this. Just barely pushing from side to side, starting at the bottom and opening them out. Just gently like that. Then working your way upwards. Then work on both sides, at one side and then the other a little bit, until you get them fluted out into the shape that you might like to use. And they open out and they look really cool when you open them out. Let me just go ahead and get this one open a little more at the top so I can show you one other quick and easy thing to do with them. Nice, I got this one opened a little bit more. But a couple of quick things to note about these. They are really thin metal, so you have to be very gentle because you don't want to, mess them up a lot. But you can also take some flush cutters if there's any piece of it that you don't like. For example, on the silver ones here, I just took my flush cutters and I cut that little wing right there off of them. And I bought this little metal hole punching tool a little while back, and it has 2 different sides to it. One makes a smaller hole and one makes a larger hole. So what I did was, they come with a little hole here in the center that you can hang a jump ring on. But I also just put those in like that, and then screw this little thing down. And I punched a couple of holes on the sides for these jump rings that I have on the side. And then I did one here at the top so I could just hang the ear wire directly, hang it directly onto this little ear wires. Now, these are just some little ones I made not too long ago. And they're really cute. And I think just hanging some little beaded links off them is going to really jazz them up. And they're really inexpensive. And they take hardly any time to make. So there's another little quick idea for you. But now I want to get into this earwire concept for today. So here's the ones that I made just using some practice metal wire. It's galvanized. You can't really use it for ear wires or anything because it's not hypoallergenic or anything like that. But I use it for practicing. And I'm going to show you guys how to make these using some nice wire today. Hey folks, so here are the ear wires that we're going to work on today. Here's my practice pair. Okay? Now here's the new pair. And this pair actually came out looking a whole lot more like the ones I saw in Hobby Lobby and that I see online all the time for this shape of an ear wire. The ones I have here I made using these cute little head pins. And I'm pretty sure I got these at AC Moore, but they have this little heart on the end of them. And I think they're probably 2 or so inches long here. They're a little bit over 2 inches long. So you could use those, or we can go ahead and talk about what I'm going to show you use in the demonstration. I'm going to be using this 20 gauge wire, and this is silver plate on copper, just dead soft copper wire, 20 gauge. I'm going to need some flush cutters. And you're going to need some pliers to make loops with. You can either use round nose, which I'm not going to use today. I'm going to use my multi-step loopers. I'm going to use the smallest barrel on this pair here to make the loop on the end. And then I'm going to show you this brand new set of pliers that I got. And these are called a wrap and tap plier. And there's another little name for them. I got these off of Amazon. But the reason I ordered them was because they have these bigger barrels. It has a, can't remember exactly. I know this is a 13 millimeter, a 16 millimeter, and a 20 millimeter barrels on them. And then the opposing barrel has this little rubber sheet on it right now, but it's round on this side and it's flat on the inside. These are called wrap and tap pliers. But one of the main reasons I bought them was so that I could make my, some bigger wire components and metal components for my jewelry making. So if you don't have these, however, you can use a fat Sharpie or a dowel stick in lieu of these larger barrels. Okay, so get you some materials out and get your tools out, and we'll get started. So I went ahead and I cut my first piece of wire here. And what I do to start is I always cut a flush end first. So with the back part of your flush cutters facing towards your working wire, just snip off the tip so you have a nice flush end here. And I actually cut this wire as long as the head pin. So I just took the head pin and laid it side by side and went ahead and made my wire the same size as that head pin. So now that I have one cut, I can just use the first wire as my guide. So I'm just going to line those two ends up till they're nice and even. I'm going to come in with my flush cutters this time. I'm going to have the flush end facing away from myself towards the working wire that I intend on using. And then I'm just going to cut. And before I put this wire away, I always cut a nice little flush end on it. That way, it's already ready for me for my next project. So for step 1, we're going to make the loop end of our earring here. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use these multi-step looper pliers. I'm going to place my 2 wires between the barrels so that nothing is sticking up and I can't feel the ends of the wires when I rub my finger across. But that I still have they're still in the barrel and I have a pretty good grip on them. So then I'm going to roll towards the smallest barrel because that's the one I want to make, the size I want to make my loop. I'm going to roll while I push with my finger, just like this, and go as far as I can before I run into my other barrel over here. Then I'm just going to open my pliers slightly and close back down, and I'm going to roll until my wires touch. And you can flip your pliers around like that and see when they're touching. So now I have that part done. And so my loops are the exact same size on my 2 wires. Now for the next step, I'm going to be using this set of pliers. I'm going to take my little loops and I'm going to position them so that they're facing away from me and they're laying on top and touching this opposite barrel over here. And I'm going to try to get them as straight as I can. And I'm going to make sure that they look very even across the top right here. And they do. So I'm using this 16 millimeter barrel here in the middle. And so now that I've got my things placed where I want them, I'm going to take my finger on the back side here, and I'm just going to roll these over across this wire. The wires over across my barrel, and I'm going to roll them all the way. Just like that. Now I have this shape. So once again, I want to make sure that my wires are lined up side by side, as close as I can get them, because we want these to match. Then I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers, which I might not have mentioned at the beginning, but I'm sure everybody that works with wire has a set of chain nose pliers. I'm going to come in pretty close to the middle of these 2 wires, just like that. And then I'm going to offset myself just a little bit, and then I'm just going to give a nice little bend right there, a sharp bend. And that's it. That is it. Now I have these adorable little earring wires. The only thing that would need to be done to finish off these is I'm going to show you, this is just a salon file, and I'm just going to take it and file the ends here to make sure that I don't have anything sharp sticking up that could injure someone's ear. And because it's a salon file, you can actually go back and forth and it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you don't rough up the finish on the sides of your wire. What you do to one, you need to check your other one. Do them both. Just gently feel with your fingers and make sure that you don't have any sharp ends. And those feel pretty good right there. Now because on this pair I used some dead soft wire, I'm going to get out my fancy smancy new larger bench block here that I got recently, and I'm going to use a nylon tipped hammer. Check out my beautiful beaded hammer cover. Anyhow, so all I'm going to do is I want to wire harden, especially up here on the bend of this earring. So I'm just going to gently tap around there where the shape of the bend is, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And that stiffens up that arch right there so that you don't have to worry about it coming unbent very easily. So now I'm just going to do this one really quick. And notice that I'm not hitting very hard. I'm just tapping along on both sides. And you can take your earrings and put them together again and make sure that you haven't misshapen them any, and that they're still, an even pair of earring wires. Of course, I always have trouble getting anything to work out on video. And see, mine didn't change shape or anything. Just because I did the gentle tapping, everything worked out pretty good. And they are both nice and stiff here on the bend. So then you could just use them for any type of earring that you want. You just need to open your loop to the side. Remember that when you're using the loop, you don't want to roll it back out because you'll misshape it and change the look of your ear wires. You want to gently roll it off to the side like that. And then when you're ready to, once you've added your earring, just gently move it back into position like that to close it. Okay. So I'm going to make another pair and show you guys really quick one more time. And I want to use this 20 gauge German style wire by Bead that I got, and this is the gold color, and I got this over at just, my local hobby store. And I don't know if anyone has ever shown you guys how to use your wire, your nylon jaw wire straighteners for when you're getting ready to work on something and your wire might be a little messed up. But I'm going to tell you right now that they don't work great when you have a sharp bend like that. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and snip off that sharp bend. And a lot of times when you buy these wires, they are wrapped around in such a way that you're always going to have some waste there at the tip. And then you're just going to take your nylon jaw pliers and gently squeeze as you pull. Do not mash really hard because these pliers, even though they are nylon, they can still damage the finish on these coated wires. And now that I got my wire fairly straight, I already have my flush end cut. All I'm going to do, because I'm going to use the same size I've been using, I'm just going to grab this little head pin over. It's easier for you to see. And then I'm going to grab my flush cutters, and I'm going to come in and cut myself a flush end here on this end of the wire. Now I need to go ahead and make a flush cut on this side and get rid of that tiny little tip of scrap. Now I can just use this wire as my guide. So I'm going to come in, make sure that my wires are as even as I can get them up here, bring the back side of my flush cutters in, and cut my wire on this end, just like that. And I can put this 20 gauge up out of the way. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so with this particular German style wire, I really like the fact that it's a little bit, it's a half hard wire when you buy it. I looked this up yesterday because I was curious as to why it just felt so much firmer and, has a few different qualities than the normal wires that I buy, the dead soft. So I've realized that it's already been half wire hardened for you when you buy it right out of the pack. So that makes it a lot easier to do certain projects with, including your ear wires. If you don't have these step loop pliers here, if you plan on making a lot of your own findings or components, I strongly suggest that you get a set of these, and even maybe invest in some of these after, because they're really handy. There's no way to make both wires at the same time using round nose pliers because your barrels are tapered. You would have to do one at a time, and you can do that by making some marks onto your barrels here that give you the same size loop each time, and I just use a red Sharpie for that on this particular pair. But I'm going to go ahead and use these one-step bloopers because I really like them. So once again, I've got my two flush ends here together as closely beside each other as I can get them. I'm going to come in here with the short side of the barrel is facing towards me, and that's the one I want to use. So I'm going to grip my ends here to where I can't feel anything at the top, and they're sitting in between the barrel, but you still have a good grip. So then I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to roll as far as I can roll with my forefinger, and then I'm going to take my thumb and continue on till my wire meets the other barrel. I'm going to open my pliers just slightly, and I'm going to come back down and I'm going to push forward just a little bit until my wires meet up with the wire behind, just like that. And then I'm going to take them off the pliers. So now I have these two loops made. I'm ready to bring in this other pair. And since this barrel is 16 millimeter, it is quite a bit fatter than my dowel, which my dowel is a 13 millimeter. So you would want to go down to Walmart or something and find a little bit bigger dowel. They have all different sizes, folks, so you can get the size that's right for you. All right, so now I'm going to bring in these pliers. And once again, I'm going to line my 2 little loops up as evenly as I can get them. And I'm going to make sure that they are facing away from me over this small back barrel here. I'm going to come behind with my forefinger once again, and I'm just going to roll my wires over this barrel, and I'm going to come around with my thumb, and I'm going to complete the roll as far as I can get it, just like that. So there I have this shape once again. Now, making sure that you don't lose your position on your wires. Come in with your chain nose pliers. Let me recapitulate myself here just a little bit. And then I'm going to come off from the center just ever so slightly. Here's about the center. And I'm going to shift towards the front just a tiny little millimeter or two, like so. Checking my position. And then I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to give a slight bend downwards, just like that. And there we have a nice little gulp here. And once again, I would just take my file and file my ends flat across like that. And then just feel with my fingers and make sure everything's nice and smooth. Because I use the German wire on this pair, I don't have to use the wire hardening technique of hammering them. And there's my second pair. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. Go ahead and check out all the great videos I have on YouTube right now that are part of my great holiday gifts projects you can make in an hour or less. Feel free to use my link and jump on over to Skillshare and take advantage of the 2 free months of premium subscription over there. There's several jewelry making teachers on Skillshare. You can check out everybody's work and everybody's projects for free during that whole 2 months that you get. All right, jump on over to my website, subscribe to the Bead newsletter. Make sure that you sign up for your account on the AlluringBeadBoutique.com, and you can pick your subscription plan. If you choose the paid plan, you get a better discount. Plus, you get a couple of free patterns each month. On the free plan, you're only going to get you're going to get a little bit of a discount off of patterns and guides and things like that as well. So make sure you get that done, folks. And it's been a really great day, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this newest video. I've got a couple more in the works for you that are part of this great holiday gift project series. So stay tuned for more. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks and have a great day.